So we're building a speaker box for a 96 Silverado, and it doesn't fit in the back seat, so we have to fiberglass our own.
Right, so here's our old box. It sounded really good, but we want to make sure that we can get it to fit underneath the box, or get the box to fit under the seat. So we've taken out the actual jack that goes right here, and this speaker is going to kind of sit like this, but we got to fiberglass the whole bottom tub to do that. So our first step is going to start to vacuum. Is we want to tape off where the front of the box is actually going to rest. So this blue line right here, this is where the back of the box, the fiberglass is going to start, and we're going to mold it all up on this. So we just want to mold out the front so we know exactly where the front of the box is going to rest. Then we're going to finish taping off the rest of all this with just some standard blue tape. First thing I want you to know is you have to overlap this other piece, because when we lay fiberglass and resin in here, we don't want it to roll onto the carpet and get stuck on the carpet. So it's really important that we put a layer over the top. We're going to start at these higher layers, then we can roll into here, but always make sure you overlap it about 1/4 of an inch to maybe a full inch, just so we have that extra protection. And we'll go ahead and do the rest of this and just fast forward through the rest of it. Now our next step, we've covered all of this flooring with the masking tape. It's important to try to get that as straight as you can. Try to not have wrinkles and everything coming up. Then once this is all clean and dried down, we're going to layer it with some aluminum foil. Now the aluminum foil will help protect the fiberglass resin so that it doesn't seep through into the carpet. Very important step, you have to do this. It also helps the mold break away from the carpet and the masking tape. So now we're going to hit this all with the aluminum foil. We'll do that now. Alright, if you wonder how to get the tin foil down, kind of keep it down, what we do is just take the tin foil and some Super 90, or you can also use the Super 77, and you just want to spray a little bit on the tape, and we'll spray just a little bit there on the tin foil, and then just kind of put it in position and form it in. And it holds it down pretty good. Already did this over here. We'll go through and do the whole thing like that. Don't use very much because you do want it to break loose. So just enough to hold it into position. So we've laid all that tin foil down. Then we'll just go over the edges and just hit it with a little bit of the masking tape. These are just kind of like little squares. We'll come back in a sec. What we've done is we just built ourselves a little box. It's just kind of a little skeleton. This is just to hold the fiberglass. You can kind of see we just put a couple little pieces of slats there and then just screwed them together. And then this is the inside. And then to get this transmission hump, we just took some cardboard, just kind of traced our pattern on some cardboard, then transferred it over to the actual box itself. So we get kind of that whole contour. And now our next step is we're going to lay some fiberglass resin in here and then some fiberglass mat and brush this all in, and we'll show you how to do that next. So now we're going to start doing our fiberglass work. What we're using is a fiberglass mat by Bondo and 3M. So this is the mat, and we've already cut it and placed it in the bottom of the box. You just need to kind of position it how you need it to stick to the box. Then we're going to use this Bondo fiberglass resin. Actually, with 3M, you can pick this up at Home Depot. Gallon's about 36 bucks. This mat is about $9. Then you're going to need some brushes and a little cup and a stir stick. Now we're going to just take our fiberglass resin and we're going to fill up about half of the container. I always try to do about half. This makes it easier to kind of work with. You don't want to mix it too much. You don't want to mix too hot. So I've got Cameron over here helping do his side, and then I'm doing my side over here. So fill that about halfway up. Make sure you have, something down like a rubber mat, so you don't get it all over yourself. Then we're going to take our hardener. I'm just going to squirt maybe about 2 seconds in there. 2 seconds in there. Now I'm going to mix mine just a little bit hotter because I've done this before. Okay, and then we're just going to start stirring it up. You go ahead, Cameron. And we got our brush. So we're going to stir it. And stir it thoroughly. You want to make sure that you get it mixed up real nice. And this is really strong, so I recommend you wearing a respirator, and I recommend you doing this outdoors. I'm not wearing a respirator because I gotta talk and you gotta be able to hear me. So just kind of stir that up for maybe a couple minutes. Shake off your stick. There's really no key to how much you use. It just depends on how comfortable you are with it. I like mixing mine a little hot because I like to get the job done. And always start at the top. You want to kind of work your way down. So just, you want to dab it. And you pour some more. Now we're going to do about 3 coats of fiberglass mat. And then that should be enough. And then we'll also do some kitty hair at the very end. And we'll show you how to do that as well. And you just want to kind of dab it up here. Now it's a good idea on these, you want to make sure that you have some resin behind there so that it has something to stick to. You don't need to worry about the extra. We can just cut that off at the end. And you'll probably use, doing a box this size, you'll probably use about 1 gallon. Just depends on how you mix it up, how hot you mix. I would say to do this entire box, probably 2 gallons would be good. And you're just pouring this in. That's why you want to make sure before you do any of this that you make it really nice and tight underneath you. Make sure you tape everything. Make sure that tin foil is nice and tight too, because you don't want it to fall through the tin foil and get your carpet. And this will help so it doesn't get through your carpet. So I'm just going to go ahead and kind of go through this. It's pretty much the same process all the way through. You just want to kind of dab it down, and you'll know when it goes through. You can actually, you'll feel it. You probably need more resin there, Cameron. And you don't want it to sit too long in the bucket because it will harden inside that your bucket here. And if it hardens, then it's no good. And it doesn't do anything for you. It's all hard and stuck. So you'll notice if you leave it in there, it'll stick itself in there and it'll stay. And then you have to get another bucket, which is no big deal. I just use disposable plastic buckets. And that's about it. We'll come back in a few minutes once we get a coat on here. We fiberglassed all this in. Now we're just going to let this sit overnight. Then we'll come back tomorrow and pull this out and start fiberglassing the outside. Alright, that's pretty much it for this video. And stay tuned next week. We'll disconnect that mold from the carpet itself, and we'll also go in there and show you how to reinforce it and do the side panels and get everything divided. And we'll do the airspace. So stay tuned next week. Please rate, subscribe, and comment, and we'll see you guys later.